Panasonic is back, baby. Hi, I'm Alex from RTINGS.com. No, not Abby, but she'll be back soon. Just stick with me here because today we're reviewing the Panasonic Z95A, the flagship OLED from Panasonic's new North American lineup. This is a pretty exciting review and one we've all been waiting for, so let's just get into it. "2024 has seen some of the thinnest, sleekest offerings hitting the OLED market, but Panasonic decided to forego the quest for thinness in order to equip the TV with a built-in 5.1.2 surround system. While from the front the TV is still pretty sleek, the end result is that the Z95A is a thick, heavy unit, coming in around 56 pounds. That's worth a note if you're planning to wall mount the TV. However, there's also an included stand with a swivel mechanism, a nice little quality of life detail that makes cable management and perfect placement that much easier. Now, the TV is a bit of a low rider, as in there isn't a lot of clearance from the surface to the bottom edge of the TV. Normally, we'd say something like, so a soundbar will block the bottom of the TV, but not here because that bottom edge is functionally a soundbar. On each side of the TV, there are speakers for surround, plus 2 up-firing speakers at the top of the panel and a subwoofer in the middle of the TV for a total of 7 channels in a 5.1.2 configuration. How do those speakers sound? Well, we actually put the system to the test on our own soundbar test bench so we could directly compare them to other soundbars. On their own, the speakers aren't bad, great for TV speakers. But if you compare the sound system to even a budget 5.1.2 soundbar, like the Vizio M-Series M512AH6, you'll find the lower bass is lacking on the Z95A. This is to be expected, given that the subwoofer is fairly small and embedded into the back of the TV, but it does mean the TV speakers can't reproduce those deep rumbles that shake you to your core. That is, unless you opt to plug in an external subwoofer with the jack in the back. Otherwise though, the Z95A's built-in system is only slightly worse than the Vizio soundbar across the tested channels. Dialogue from the center channel sounds clear, but the surround system performance is a bit worse, again due to the lower bass reproduction. Its performance with Atmos content is also pretty similar to the soundbar, so you can actually expect a fairly immersive sound experience with just the TV speakers. Flagship territory is usually the place where manufacturers make their mark, showcasing their design prowess and technical innovation. While Panasonic has certainly done that in a number of ways, they also made some questionable choices. I mean, when have we ever seen a flagship OLED with Fire TV? Sure, the implementation is snappier than what you'd find on a Toshiba C350, but yeah, we'd hope so given that the Panasonic is 10 times the price. Naturally, there are some minor bugs such as settings not sticking when you toggle them on. If this happens while you're watching something through an app like Netflix, just return to the home screen and re-enter the app to unstick the setting. When compared to the speckled backlit remote of this year's Sony Bravias and the metallic monsters of the recent Hisense models, the Panasonic's remote is pretty simplistic, perhaps even primal. But no one is buying a $3,000 TV for its remote. No, you're buying a $3,000 TV because it performs like a $3,000 TV, which the Z95A certainly does. The main point of hype for this TV is that it, like the LG G4, comes equipped with an MLA layer meant to boost brightness. This layer does allow the Z95A to reach incredibly bright peaks in our test slides. With a 2% window, exemplary of a specular highlight, the Z95A pushes 1700 nits, but it doesn't sustain that. In large windows and sustained tests, the aggressive automatic brightness limiter kicks in and the TV generally caps out at a more conservative, but still very bright for an OLED, 1200 nits in real content. And this is true whether or not you're in or out of game mode, as it doesn't lose any brightness when switched over. Because we have fun here, we wanted to see how it compared to the LG G4 and the Sony A95L more directly. Guess which one is the Z95A? It might be hard to see, but the Z95A is just a hair dimmer overall in real content. At home, you'll never notice this, unless you also have all 3 TVs set up next to each other. But hey, a bronze medal is still a place on the podium. As an added plus, the Z95A supports both Dolby Vision and HDR10+, so you can rest assured that the Z95A will provide an impactful HDR experience regardless of the source. When it comes to accurately reproducing brightness, the Z95A is incredible. It hugs the PQ EOTF tracking curve, ensuring content is displayed just as the creator intended. Can it display colors as intended though? Yes, of course it can. It's accurate before calibration and even more accurate after calibration. As to be expected of a WOLED panel, it doesn't quite reach the same near perfect coverage of either the DCI-P3 or Rec 2020 color spaces as QD OLEDs, but it's great overall. Similarly, with color volume, that white subpixel dilutes rich colors as the brightness increases, so colors aren't quite as vibrant as they are on QD OLEDs. Its gradient handling is good too, with some minor banding in dark grays and greens, again, pretty on par with the performance of other top-tier WOLEDs. In SDR brightness, it's still bright, and combined with its glossy screen coating, it's able to handle both direct and indirect reflections with ease. Meaning, its placement in your home isn't limited by windows or bright overhead lights. All told, it's an incredible TV that of course features all the benefits we know and love about OLED panels, like perfect contrast, no blooming around subtitles, menus, or highlights, incredible motion handling with no halos or trails, instantaneous response times, incredibly low input lag for gamers, and a wide viewing angle that makes it easy to enjoy regardless of where you sit. Another key marketing point of this TV is the HCX Pro AI processor MK2, with many folks speculating how Panasonic will stack up against stalwarts like Sony. Well, Sony, be warned. The Z95A actually has some pretty stellar processing. When upscaling low-resolution content, the Panasonic does an excellent job of keeping the content clear and sharp. Of course, it can't make 480p look like native 4K though. Content from low bitrate streams looks good on this TV. While it does an excellent job of preserving finer details, it isn't as strong at smoothing out chunky macro blocking. Better than Sony? Not quite, especially when it comes to content smoothing, but for upscaling, it's actually on par. Alright, with all that said, should you buy the Panasonic Z95A? The quick answer, given its incredible performance on our tests, is yes. But when you're in this price range, it's important to split hairs. In the details, you may find a pesky little nuisance that changes how you interact with this TV. For example, do you like to cast videos from your phone using Chromecast? Unfortunately, there's no Chromecast support, only AirPlay. Watch over-the-air content? You're limited to ATSC 1.0 right now. Panasonic claims an upcoming firmware update will fix that in favor of ATSC 3.0. What if you have multiple devices that require high bandwidth HDMI ports? The Z95A has 4 HDMI ports total, but only 2 are capable of HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. At least those ports support 4K at 144Hz signals, unlike other flagship OLEDs. Sony. The other 2 ports, though, are limited to 4K at 60Hz. Oh, plus one of those high bandwidth ports is the eARC port, so if you do want to get a soundbar for this TV, make sure it has HDMI 2.1 pass-through. And perhaps the biggest consideration of them all, do you want a 65-inch, 56-pound TV? Because that's the only size option available. If you want a smaller or larger size, you're looking at different models, like the 55-inch Z95A, which lacks both the MLA layer and the sound system. Or you wait for the elusive 77-inch Z93A, which doesn't have a release date yet. If any of those things matter to you, there's always the LG G4. You're not compromising on performance and are in fact addressing every single downside that we just mentioned. It has Chromecast built in, but it also supports AirPlay. All 4 of its HDMI ports are high bandwidth and can support up to 4K at 144Hz signals, and it comes in a range of sizes from 55-inch to 97 inches. So, was this the winning return we were hoping for from Panasonic? Yeah, it fits snugly in with the rest of the other top-tier OLEDs of this year, with a couple of well-designed choices to make it stand out from the competition. We're currently working on the videos for the other Panasonic models that have passed through the lab, but if you're interested in a sneak peek preview, head on over to our website where the written reviews are already up. Until next time, I'm Alex from ratings.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. You're limited to ATSC 1.0 right now, but Panasonic. Panic!
Only AirPlay.
Only AirPlay.
Thinky face. Shrug. Yeah, great. Thumbs up. Maybe
Yeah.
like a